welcome back to another episode of Spoiler Alert.
Episode 6.
It is episode 6, you're right.
Episode 6.
Yes. Thank you so much for sticking with this. For those of you who have been listening since episode 1, we totally appreciate that so much. And if you are new to the podcast, welcome. We hope you have a great time. We have a great time. Now, full disclosure right up front.
We are recording one day later than we normally do.
So normally on Wednesdays we record this bad boy so that we can get it up first thing in the morning on Thursday. Well, our Wednesday ended up being back-to-back full of stuff and we didn't have time. So instead we have woken up before the sun and we're recording it. So if you hear a little bit of sleepy gravel in our voices this time, we're not practicing our NPR voices. This is just the coffee has yet to kick in. But we are also,
we
yes.
could also be practicing our NPR voices.
That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have you ever played that game, I think it was a BuzzFeed quiz, that was Star Wars character or NPR host?
No, you know what I think that was from? Because that sounds familiar.
Because I
remember this. This was from, was it from, Wait, Don't Tell Me? Maybe?
Now I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
You know what?
Hilarious.
I think we heard it on Wait, Don't Tell Me, but I also think at the same time, I think it was a BuzzFeed quiz.
It could. It's so funny though because it's true. Some of those NPR hosts, their names
are the most interesting.
Interesting.
That's the prerequisite to become an NPR host, is that you need to have an interesting
If you
name.
came in with a regular name, they'd be like, "That's not going to work for us. We need to figure something else out." Can you do a little more Star Wars? Amazing. So if you're listening to this in the morning, grab a cup of coffee so we can let's all take a big sip of coffee right now.
1, 2, 3.
And now this is
that's good.
one of those ASMR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know, speaking of being up before the sun, did you know that Teddy Roosevelt used to say, "Never let the sun catch you sleeping"?
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
So.
Very interesting. Thank you for that historical tidbit.
Yeah. So.
Did you know that Howard Stark used to say, what was it? Howard Stark used to say, I'm trying to think, that would have been a great transition if I could remember.
Are you trying to say that peace means having a bigger stick than the other guy?
Yes.
Yes. Did you also know that the early bird gets the worm, the second mouse gets the cheese, but the third velociraptor gets locked in the freezer? Words to live by.
Wise words. Wise words for everybody today. We're full of those. Yes. Okay.
So anyway. Jumping into the last episode of What If, it was really interesting. The one with T'Challa as Star-Lord was one change made a lot of things very positive, and this felt like the opposite. One change made a lot of things
real bad.
I guess there have been other episodes like that, but
that's a very good comparison.
This one felt similar to that, where that one change of him being Star-Lord had such echoes to so much positivity, and this one had echoes of just so much negativity and Tony just being unredeemed. We had a little bit of regular Tony Stark at the beginning of Iron Man, but then I think ever since then we've been seeing a different version of him, even if he doesn't really kind of figure out who he is without the suit until Iron Man 3, which is the point of the movie.
Right.
He does have a self-absorbed hero quality to him, so there's still the hero in there. So
right, well, because he realizes in Iron Man, in the universe wherein he does become Iron Man, he realizes right away that his technology is evil. Essentially, it's doing wrong.
Or technology that's not directly controlled by him.
Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah. And then he he vows to not make warfare anymore in
I
that
would
same
love
way.
to have I don't know, some kind of bonus content where we just see what all of the Stark Industries manufacturing turned into.
Oh?
Because he says like they shut down the weapons manufacturing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that doesn't just happen overnight. Like that's a huge supply chain that had to get modified to do something, right?
I
Like
suppose.
like they don't just start making arc reactors.
Uh-huh.
They had to do something with all that. So
I guess you're right.
that can be a very interesting story taking place during the events of the first like 10 Marvel movies is supply chain.
I feel like that's for a very specific group of
Oh, that'd be
people.
so
And
interesting.
it specifically you, Nick. That sounds like that's right up your alley. But I don't know. I
That's
mean,
gonna
if
be
anybody else thought that just sounded like a really fun time, let us know.
that's gonna be the newest fan fiction. That's gonna be
Supply chain.
Stark Industries supply chain, the most interesting supply chain that's ever
Oh
existed.
my
This is
goodness.
gonna do so well at conventions,
I'm sure.
supply chain conventions.
Supply chain.
Sorry, I need to clarify the other kind of conventions, the one for industry professionals.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
it's gonna kill there. They're gonna love it. They're
Oh
gonna
my
love it.
gosh.
It's gonna be like their Avengers.
Oh boy. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's
Anyways.
let's get back to the main topic at hand here.
So
I don't know.
what?
I think it was sad to kind of see Tony in that moment because we have a pretty close parallel to the first movie. So much so that when we see that scene with the armored vehicle driving and then he's taking the picture, the selfie, it was almost kind of creepy because it was so similar to the movie. Like, it was so dead on. I don't know, maybe I've just seen that movie more. So it was something that I was like, whoa, whoa, this is like exact.
I like how they retconned Rhodey into this movie.
I like that too.
At first I didn't catch it, and then I said, "Wait a
Wait a
second.
minute.
Don Cheadle.
It's Don Cheadle. That's
Yeah.
good. I'm glad they did that.
Me too.
But then he
I think he
died. I
died.
know.
I know.
That was really sad. But anyway, I mean, seeing Tony like address the people and appoint Eric on his team and all of that happens, it was weird because I don't know, it just felt strange that he didn't have kind of that redemption, that experience that we know is gonna change him, even if he's always a cocky asshole like he will be. But like, he's you expect that kind of thing to happen and to change his character. I don't know.
This was also kind of similar to Iron Man 3 with Taron Killian and the Mandarin, where he's basically kind of, I guess, and Obadiah's from the first one, where he's basically kind of playing both sides to manufacture a war. Because that's what Killian did. He created a villain and then was like basically trying to bait both sides. That's what he did. Basically.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was interesting. He like calls out Obadiah immediately. Eric does. And he's like, "Oh, it was him. It was him." And then they arrest him and you're like, "Oh, well, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Get rid of the guy."
This episode also kind of resolves.
No, but it doesn't. It's like a cliffhanger, but on a positive note, where you're like, oh, there's hope. There's hope because Shuri and Pepper are gonna save the day.
And I like that. We heard like T'Challa saying that power that was not earned, can be a very corruptive thing or a very dangerous thing, even if it doesn't happen right away. So you see that as he's wearing the Black Panther armor. So maybe there's going to be some kind of future fight where he thinks he's invincible and he's not. But yeah, Oh, I don't know. Oh, also, the Watcher.
I was just about to
We
bring that
just
up.
see him
We saw his
body,
body.
yeah, like hitting sunlight. Like
We saw like an arm.
no, we saw like his face and his
Well,
body, and
yeah, like it's been his eyes, and then it's been like kind of the shape of his head and his collar.
I think every episode he's become a little bit more present to the camera, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking that at some point that's going to build to him putting something together, like, or interfering with.
But I thought he can't, or he can and he
Well,
doesn't.
he's not supposed to, but I think that kind of power he's like probably could if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, he talked to
Doctor
Doctor
Strange.
Strange.
He did.
But in this episode, he's like looks like he was on Earth. Like you saw him
Yeah.
like in the atmosphere. So that's interesting. I'm curious to see
Mm-hmm.
what happens with that.
Totally. Me too. Me too. I noticed
Mm-hmm.
that it looked like Killmonger. Part of his thing is that he has all the little cuts, scars all over
Mm-hmm.
his body,
Yeah.
like the little bumpy scars for every kill.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that again when he kills Tony.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it looked like it was maybe less.
Yeah, because this would be years before the Black Panther movie took place. That's why T'Challa's sister looks younger as
Oh, yeah, of
well.
course. But then
Yeah,
that's weird because I don't know, like you assume that a lot of those kills happened in the military where he got the name Killmonger. So,
I think he did. Yeah, because he would have been. Remember,
but
he
then
saved Tony.
over the year, oh yeah,
He
he saved
saved
Tony.
Tony because he was deployed.
So,
That's the
without
assumption
saving Tony, he would have continued
to be into
in the
in the
military and
military.
killing
Yeah.
people.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that answers my
I think in
question.
this, yeah, in this, what if he like either knew about this plan or happened to be nearby and basically decided to make his move on Wakanda that he'd been
Well, he
planning a
makes it
lot
sound like he
earlier.
knew. He makes it sound like there was some
Yeah,
sort of intercepted something.
yeah.
Well, he
Well,
says it's
this is a
basically.
what if. So it's like if Killmonger had wanted to kind of make his move on Wakanda a lot earlier, he would have probably known that there was a plot.
And boy, does he make moves. This whole episode is like him just
Yeah.
making these sneaky moves. And it reminds you, like in Black Panther, it was the same where he had this plot. He had these,
Mm-hmm.
little moves. And the first time you watch it, he's not trustworthy, but you don't really see his aim everywhere. And so
Mm-hmm.
knowing what his goals are in this and watching these,
Well,
you're
he's a
just like, it
Navy.
just makes you
He's like a
mad.
Navy SEAL and like a genius. So he's very, even though I think his name is deceptively Killmonger, so you think of him being very brooding, but he's very
You mean like
methodical.
brutish?
Brooding.
Brooding is like emotional.
Oh, maybe brutish.
I think it's early.
I've heard it both ways.
Sorry. Yes,
But
you're
he's
right.
very smart and very
Yeah.
methodical, and I think maybe that's why some of those decisions feel like they came out of left field because it's not really what you're expecting him to do or expecting kind of somebody who is kind of painted at first like a killer to do to be very well thought out with his plan like that.
I think one of the parts that made me the most like infuriated was when you see him in Wakanda hit the little button. And then he's like, "Oh, Tony must have programmed them so that they would blah blah blah," and you're like, "No,
That is
it's
called
right there."
dramatic irony,
I know.
and I hate dramatic irony. We're gonna take a moment now talk about this week's sponsor, Dramatic Irony.
Oh my gosh.
There was a trend in the late 80s to 90s of children's television really leaning into dramatic irony. I don't know why. I don't know why this happened, but there were many kid shows. Well, at least they were on kids networks. They might have, by today's standards, they probably would have been kid shows that used dramatic irony as a plot device. And as somebody with some level of anxiety when I was little. That, dramatic irony was not my jam.
No.
I really just, I don't know. I was so, like you said, you wanted to yell at the screen, but as a little kid that didn't know how to process that, I was just like so scared. And I was like, no, like, I know, but you don't know, and I can't help you. And then it was everywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have a real
Oh.
avoidance of dramatic irony. Like when I see it coming up, I'm like, I think that's one of the big reasons that I don't like horror movies, besides just the scary.
Right.
Because there's always dramatic. I mean, the Final Destination movies, there's basically just dramatic irony, the movie. Because they're like, oh no, you don't know this thing, but we know this thing. Oh no, it's going to get you.
Never saw those.
Oh, I saw the trailers. And the trailers gave me nightmares, so...
Okay. Fair enough. So, I guess, neither Nick or I really do scary movies. So, if ever there's scary movies that need to be talked about, we might need a podcast guest.
Yeah. I'm not going to be the one talking about them.
No, me either. Well, yes. So, anyway, all this to say, dramatic irony included. It was a pretty good episode.
It was a pretty good episode.
It made you just kind of feel infuriated with Killmonger and his evil plans.
In the regular Black Panther movie, he kind of takes over as king.
Right.
I thought that'd be his end goal at the end of this episode.
Oh, I mean, I still think it is. I still think it is. He's clearly he's in it for himself. Whatever it is, he's in it for himself and he's in it for power. So he becomes Black Panther, which we see.
We don't see what happens with the king, which I was curious if we would see it resolve.
Right.
Or if he's like going to be like the Black Panther guy.
Well, if he killed T'Challa, why wouldn't he take an opportunity to kill the king when he gets it?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Maybe getting close to him on purpose.
Yeah.
For that reason. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. But he does become Black Panther, and he's wearing the uniform that what looks like the same, not uniform, outfit. Suit. He's wearing the same suit, it looks like, that he wears in Black Panther, that is black and gold. But then, that's weird because Shuri designs that so much later, so maybe it just has the same design elements, but it's not as sophisticated as a suit because she's like a child.
I don't know. I don't know. She's still smart enough to like get to Pepper and
I guess that's
show her
true.
some kind of holographic glass screen thing, which in 2008, when the events of Iron Man take place, would have been even more impressive.
That's a good point. They didn't
even have clear screens or anything that would resemble that. So if you remember, that was Tony did not have an iPhone in that movie. I feel like every movie after, there's some kind of square glass iPhone-esque looking device as like this as like everybody's cell phone. And in that movie, I think it's like a Sony, maybe it's an Ericsson. It's one where the screen,
that little flippy deal.
Yeah.
Flippy doodad.
My gut wants to say Sony Ericsson, but that's probably not it. But it was a Sony where the screen went, as you flip the screen, kind of like a sidekick motion. It went kind of landscape. What's really interesting is that I remember when this movie came out, I saw that phone and I said, wow, video calling over cell signal. I want to buy that phone.
That's why they did it.
And surprise, that phone does not have video calling over cell signal. That phone had, the like a old school like pixelated like screen. It would have been
in 2008, right? That's when that movie came out. I'm trying to remember what phone I had in 2008. It was definitely some kind of Android, and you're right, there would have been absolutely no video calling.
No,
even to just record video, probably.
No, at that point you're using Skype to do if you did a video
I
call?
may have had a razor in 2008. Was that around that time?
Ooh.
Maybe.
Would it have been a pink
I
one?
definitely had a flip phone of some sort. I'm pretty sure. If not, maybe I had at one point I had this kind of like Android thing with like the little keyboard that kind of like slid up and down, and then the keyboard was there. It was like a big chunky deal. But yeah, you're right. You're right. Video calling was not. Boy, that's so funny.
October 2005.
Was what?
In June 2006, the Razor was available in the United States.
Oh, okay. So it could have been I could have had a razor still.
Had a Razor.
Phones were a lot more durable back then.
I think I had a Razor too.
Yeah.
I think I had a Razor at that same time. But all that to say, I saw that thinking, wow, this is really cool. And that technology was, I think it was years away. It wasn't until we got to the, was it the iPhone 4S had FaceTime on it, and you could only do it if you were on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And you could only do it to another iPhone if they were also on Wi-Fi kind of thing. And then the whole like getting it on cell service was still relatively, I mean now, I forgot it's 2021, so probably it's, 5-6 years that we've had that. But
yeah,
I'm remembering back when it was first introduced, it was like there had to be very ideal conditions.
It's really hard for me to remember because prior to FaceTime, I still would use like Skype.
Yeah.
So video calling, like I was still doing video calling. It just wasn't on my phone. And I guess it's kind of hard to remember how I used to do that.
And it's really weird because now it's just like with our daughter, she just assumes that the phone is like it's used for video.
For that, yes.
Yeah, when there's just a phone call, it's like
she's like she wants to see them.
What's the missing? Why don't I see their face?
Right.
And I'm like, we're here talking like, man, what a weird invention that was.
And how Iron Man like predicted it. Yeah. Wow, that puts things into perspective. That really does.
Well, the first iPhone would have been 2007. So it would have been brand new, and it still would have been, in the, is this a fad? Is this going to take off kind of thing? Do you think we'll see any of these characters in Avengers Campus?
Interesting. I don't know. Maybe when the series is over, we'll have a better idea.
Maybe. Because I didn't think we'd see Loki characters because, just an assumption that it was kind of a spin-off.
I think we talked about this a little bit last week.
About where it sits
in the timeline. Yes. That is still... Yeah, I'm still not sure about that. Yeah. So I don't know. That's a good question. That'd be interesting. But if so, then it's like, then they've abandoned placing it in a timeline and it's just about, oh, look, a character you like. Don't worry about the reason that they're here. It's fine. This exists in a different realm.
I mean...
And that could be possible.
That could be possible. It's not like that land has a real e-ticket ride.
Well, it's supposed to, but it doesn't.
Well, they tried to, retcon Mission Breakout into that area.
Yes.
But anyways.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows with Chapek?
Yeah.
I mean...
Speaking of Bob Chapek.
Yeah.
Changing gears, we have the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World coming up.
We do.
On October 1st.
And yes, Chapek has... who knows what's in store. It's just around the corner, but people are already feeling very lackluster. The merch is...
Especially the merchandise. And we have no illusions that it's not like it's like Bob Chapek in a room making all of these final decisions. No, of course
not. He didn't design the ears that you buy in the park, and we know that. But we need someone to blame.
But yeah, it's just kind of he sets the tone, obviously, that everybody else follows, and the tone for the merchandising was safe and safe again. That seems to be the motto, because everything for the 50th anniversary bears no resemblance to the thing that it is supposed to be celebrating.
Yeah.
So we took it upon ourselves to start working on some 50th anniversary merchandise for Walt Disney World.
Yes.
That we think is actually what should have been made. We have some designs in the works that are going to be coming out as we get closer to the anniversary, but we have one up now.
Yes.
If
So
you want to look at it.
as we record this now, we currently have one design that you can get on a T-shirt, which I personally think is the best rendition, but
I like it on the sweater too.
Yeah, a hoodie. We have a hoodie.
Yeah.
And then you can get it as a sticker, and you can get it as a phone case. So it's like a clear phone case, and then it's got the design right in the middle.
Yeah.
Super fun. So what is this design?
Yeah.
You may look at it and you may be like, I don't even know what that is, because I mean, when Nick and I talk about fans, like, we love it when we can get really, like, deep cut.
So
what is this? What does it mean? What's it look like? Tell us everything. So it's going to be a
black circle, and it's going to say, remember, opening October 1st, 1971. And before Disney World opened, in the train station on Main Street, has a clock on both sides, facing out to the turnstiles and then facing down Main Street towards the castle. That clock that's in the clock tower before the park opened was replaced with a black circle that said that, so that every construction worker and every employee knew exactly when the park was opening and the deadline that they needed to meet. That's why it says remember. Underline,
yes.
Opening October 1st, 1971.
No, first. It just says October.
Oh, is it just October?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
October 1971.
Sorry, it's not even 5 a.m. yet. Anyways, so yes, that was there up before the park opened, as kind of like a reminder, because they really kind of came down to the wire on that park opening on time. So
yeah, so every day any cast member involved in putting it together would look at the clock, and instead of seeing the current time, it's like time to do your work and get ready for us to open in October.
So they had a couple videos showing Walt Disney World being made, and some of those videos, start on that, showing you that remember opening October. And then kind of pan up into the park. It was never really seen by the guests because it was obviously replaced with a clock. But, real kind of Disney park fans know that circle and know that. So that was our first...
we just thought it was just such a funny, funky little thing.
That if at
the heart of the 50th of this park. Like
let's talk
the
about
day that it opened. Right.
So yeah, that was our first one. That's a pretty deep cut. I mean, I feel like you're gonna see it on the website, and like if you know kind of thing. But yeah, definitely if you look up Walt Disney World opening and you Google it, you go to images, one of those you will see that.
We'll see what we're talking about.
We'll see what we're talking about, and we're gonna have more designs coming out soon that kind of are in that same spirit, where it's very much talking about when the park opened and kind of taking a look back at the last 50 years. So make sure to be on our email list and follow us on social, because we'll be kind of teasing that and talking about it as those come out. But yeah, that's our first design. And I mean, I bought one of the sweaters because I want to wear it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, if you are new to the podcast and you don't know what we're talking about Fan Service Apparel. So you can find this and all kinds of other delightful fandom-inspired things that we create at fanserviceapparel.com, or you can find us on Etsy. Fan Service Apparel, all one word. That's the name of our shop on Etsy. Please do also look for us on social media. We'd love to see you over on our Instagram or our Facebook page. And that way you can be alerted to all the new and exciting things. Plus, we sometimes post just really funny memes of
fandom stuff.
Yeah, so those are good too. Yes. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I think that's it for today. I think that's it for today. We are gonna start our day now. Get a little more coffee. Although I'm feeling more awake This was a good way to start our day.
Yeah?
I'm into this. Yeah.
Okay.
Will I do it again? I don't know, but but it was good.
Okay.
Thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.